Well, this little book right here is the history of our farm. Back in 1911, my grandparents bought this farm. I think it was 47 plus acres for $3,000 cash. The house that we're sitting in right now is the house that my wife and I built in 1966, I believe it was. 65, she corrects me. I stand corrected sometimes when I go back to try to remember those things. Seems like only yesterday, but it was 1965 that we built this house. But where we're sitting at the present time was the last thing that was here was a cotton patch, cotton field. And where I'm sitting, directly under this spot, I have picked cotton. And down in front of our house, where we had tobacco, we had a mule. We never did have a tractor on the farm. We had a mule. Didn't have a wagon. Never did have a wagon. We had a slide. Had metal skids on it. And that's how we got the tobacco to the house. And we built 2 barns, I think, since the old pole barn. The table that we have on our back porch now was the table that my mother had and Daddy had when I was growing up. I was too short to see up on the table, so they would put me on these Sears and Roebuck catalogs. I think there were 2 of them. They were about that thick at that time, so 2 Sears and Roebuck catalogs were about like that. That's what I sat on when I would eat. And in that yard, the only way we had water was from a well. There are no creeks on this farm. There are no springs on this farm, and we only have ponds and to water the cattle. And now we have city water. And at that time, we either had to go to a neighbor's creek and get it in milk cans and bring it home and put it into a tub. And of course, we didn't have electricity in our house until I believe it was 1951. On Saturday morning, we would set out a number 2 tub out behind the chicken house, and we would fill it with water. The sun would heat it, and on Saturday afternoon late, we'd get out there and we'd pull everything off and get in the tub and take a bath on Saturday night.
Getting ready for church on Sunday.
That's true. That's true. The way I got started with livestock was 4-H and Future Farmers. 4-H down at Binder's School at the McCain's community where I went. And I got some pigs. And as I got in high school, I got into beef cattle and dairy cattle. So I bought a dairy calf, and she was about a year old for $175. I saved up my money. I paid for it. And so I had my dairy calf. The question is, what do I want Junior and Sarah to remember 20 years from now? Well, 20 years from now, I'm 77 now. Well, it'll be in October. That's going to put me up there, isn't it?
Yeah, 97.
I hope that they will remember the integrity that their Granny Gail and Paul has had through the years. Hope they'll remember that we sacrificed for our children, for our grandchildren, that we were active in the church and in the community in which we live. And if they'll have those memories, I think they'll be very precious.
I think so.
Yeah.
Quite proud of our ancestors. They had no idea that there would be a Larry Benderman. They had no idea there would be a Kevin Jr. and a Sarah. And who knows what's going to happen the next 25 to 30 years. My mother passed away in the early morning hours of March the 24th, 2018. And she was a tough individual. She was the oldest of 9 children, and she outlived all of them. And here's what I wrote. Mama was the oldest of 9 children, born in the Depression days, December 4, 1921. She was both a sister and a mama to those that came after her. Whether a boy or a girl, she made each one behave. Mama got a good education, though not going beyond grade 8. She learned to sew, clean, bake, and seemed to enjoy each, and never forgot what it took to survive. Mama, as the oldest, took life to heart, and often let all know what made her so smart. She had certain values folks today don't have. Yet when anyone got out of line, look out. Mama outlived all those brothers and sisters. She had spunk and a will to fight to the end. Earlier days she could recall, but in her latter days, mentally, she became thin. Although she didn't respond to me in the end, her words rang in my mind when, to me as a child, she would say, "Don't slam the door," and "Shut the door, you're letting the flies in." I don't know how she learned to make banana pudding so good, but it was my favorite, and she knew it. I would eat it all at one setting if she would let me. But she would say, "You're going to make yourself sick." Memories? Yep. I've got more than a few. Let's sit and talk sometime, and I'll share with you. Say, I'll bet your mama must have known mine, 'cause my mama knew everybody on the party line. So now the oldest of 9 is gone, nary a one remains. So now what are we to do? For me, I'll remember Mama. How about you?